Reality Queens with your host, Rachel, and your co-host.
Jenn Hoffman. Hello.
Yay,
We are here.
hi.
Hi. So today we are going to talk things Bachelor Nation. We are going to dive into a controversial story about Joan and her late husband. We're going to talk about the men tell all. We're going to talk about the Dancing with the Stars Olympian that people want to become the next Bachelorette, and Rachel has a lot of news about that. But first, I just wanted to just kind of dive right in. So there's a lot of controversy online right now when people found out that Joan's husband, who's deceased, was a convicted felon. Now, the facts on it are that Joan's husband was trying to think of like the exact thing. Actually, I have it right here. Okay. So people are saying it's like a shocking past revealed, and it's this very sensationalized thing. And then you think, oh my God, like, did he murder someone? He's a felon. And I'm not saying crimes are good, but he pled guilty to it was like conspiracy to commit wire fraud, tax fraud, and mail fraud. And while he was awaiting sentencing, he died. So basically, the shocking past of Joan's ex-husband is that he was a convicted felon, and it was for mail fraud, wire fraud, and email fraud. But he passed away before he could be sentenced. And he passed away from, I think, pancreatic cancer, which is a very swift, highly lethal cancer. And there's a lot of controversy online because some people are saying, well, I wouldn't have supported her if I knew that the person she was trying to get over was a convicted felon. And, why did they choose her because of this? And it's like, well, first of all, he's dead. He's gone.
Yeah.
Second of all, she's not a co-defendant in this. You know, she wasn't listed.
And he wasn't a convicted felon when they fell in love 60 years ago. So calm down. First of all. Second of all, our president is a convicted felon, our future president. And then also, I would just like to point out that, look, because someone that you are partners with, a lot of people say, oh, you knew what they're doing. You knew this, that, and the other thing. Well, we don't know the story, the details. So, maybe she knew, maybe she didn't. And that's not our place to judge.
Yes.
So, I mean,
no idea what you know about your partner. Look, there's people that have shocking revelations that their partners were cheating or have an entirely different family. So knowing what's going on in somebody who owned multiple businesses. So her husband, John, owned more than one business, at least two. He had co-founders and other people involved in these businesses. And by the way, this happened in 2009. So it was a long time ago. And according to all reports, he also coached, youth sports for free, was like a very charitable donor. So while I'm not excusing fraud or being a felon, I'm also the people that are having a hard time letting Joan find love or Joan be the Golden Bachelorette because of a mistake that her husband made, admitted he made, pled guilty to it, and then died while awaiting sentencing, may want to do some soul searching for themselves for mistakes that they've made, mistakes people adjacent, their parents, their spouses, their children, people around them have made, and be like, do you deserve to have a good life and have love and treated like anybody else if somebody who is not you commits a crime?
Yeah. I mean, right. And not only that, but we don't know the circumstances. The guy is passed, and that doesn't take away and the hurt of losing someone, especially to cancer, is just bringing this up. It's just the worst thing people can do, I think. And I don't know. I think it's kind of shitty. Why? It also brings up the point, why are we allowed to bring in, when someone's on television, why are we allowed to bring in their parents and their kids and their this and the people's backgrounds? And they're on a reality show. So it's not really fair. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
understand people's curiosity, especially in this instance, because she mentioned John, whether she was, every 3 sentences, and it was a very big deal for her to get over it. And a big theme for all the participants were getting over, spouses that had died, maybe harder divorces, even with Pascal, a breakup that had broken his heart. And he brought up his family and his childhood. So that it's of interest to people. Joan had left on the first one to help take care of her daughter. So you do invite on this particular season and the season before it, at least on Golden, families are a lot more paramount and invited in, because I think at this age you have a lot more going on with it. But I also do agree that at the same time, things that you didn't do that family members do is very different than like just a curiosity about the daughter that she left to go help after having a baby, or
Yeah.
curiosity about it. Of course, you'd be curious about who's this guy that she left. How does that inform her decisions about maybe the men she's choosing now and things like that? But it is not, and no pun intended, an indictment on Joan. Like, she didn't
Right.
do anything, and there's no evidence that she did, because if she did, you get called to be like a there's nothing saying she was ever a witness or a co-conspirator. You know what I mean? So I do think it's interesting, because it does talk about something that she went through that may have been even harder for her. Like, let's say she didn't know. She's like, oh my God, now we were going through court. Now we're this. Oh, and then he dies. Like, it sounds like she's been through something very traumatic regardless. And people did wonder why she went on the show and was unable to let go of John, all this aside. And it sounds like the end was very rough and traumatic, and that could make it a lot harder. If
Well, I mean, sorry, but like, does someone not deserve love because they had a messy, like, few years of their life? It's like, look, she went on the show because she saw it as an opportunity to find love, like,
right,
period.com.
right,
And in that process of finding love, she has had a lot of other things. Because she's putting herself out there, she's having all this brought back up. She has to talk about her husband dying of cancer every single day of her life. For the love of God, it's like that has to be traumatic. Then now she's like, this is all coming out, and it's like, I just like feel like the same people that are like preaching, should she be on the show, or should this, that, and the other thing. It's like, why are we bringing this up? Like, why? Like, she's like, that is, I just don't think it's fair. Like, I think it's like
I think bringing it
people,
okay, but judging it is the
right.
problem. You can bring
But
anything
then
up.
it's also like, sure, bringing it up is okay. And like, if we're talking between friends and like it comes up, but then it's like also by the same token, the fact that it's out there and it's a news story, is that like, that's so unfair to
I think
her, because it's just like, now there's like this private part of her life that is being brought up that's not part of the show, and it's not part of like, I don't know. It just, I hate that about public personalities. When you become a public personality, everything gets brought up, everything you've ever done. And it's just, and the things that your family have done, and the things that, like, it's just like everything. And especially when we first meet a new person in the media, like, for example, I'm saying Joan is a new person because like we met her on the Golden Bachelor, but now she's the Golden Bachelorette. She hasn't been around for 10 years, so it's like, when you meet a new person in the media, they bring up like everything. Like, people just like go digging for stuff. And it's like, I kind of blame the fans for that a little bit. What, like, what fan or journalist or someone thought, I want to find out who her ex-husband was and dig up like background checks on him or whatever case or whatever.
when she kept telling Pascal, you remind me of my ex-husband, you remind me of John, I did have the
Yeah.
inclination to be like, well, who is this man? So this could have come from a very innocent and very authentic desire to just be like, oh, well, let me look up his name and let's see what he did
Yeah.
and who he was and where they lived and what their life was like, because she's bringing him up saying, can people compare to him? And then has even said that one of the men there has, personality traits of him, like the adventure, the fun, this, that. So it's like, okay, who is this guy? What did he look like? Did he look like any of these men? So I think this could have come just from natural curiosity. And then somebody,
I'm going to
sees
guess
it.
that heavy.com was not naturally curious. I'm going to guess that they were looking for a headline,
I think it might have
period.
come from Reddit. So I think people on Reddit become super fans and they dig and dig. I'm not sure if that was the first place it was posted, but it's heavily cited to like that somebody on Reddit posted it. Could have gone somewhere first, but I think the attention went to Reddit since fans always go to like the threads, super fans, especially for any reality show. We'll check the Reddit threads. And that somebody had posted it there. And then other people pick it up exactly like what you're saying to grab headlines. Now, people could criticize us and say, are we trying to grab a headline? It's not that. It's that we tend to, because we've both been on reality shows, you cast for them. I've been a reporter reporting on media and reality for a while. It's like digging in a little bit to the psychology of it and people's reactions and what's going on. It's not trying to sensationalize it. And I'm certainly not trying to say, like, Jones shocking past, because frankly it's not even shocking. It is what it is, and she's moved on and she was looking for love, and I hope she found it. Which we could segue into, we just had an episode of The Men Tell All,
Yes.
which was fun,
Sweet,
and
sweet Charles.
everything about that was so sweet. It was almost like the men found the loves of their life in each other, which
Yes.
was adorable. And opening up with
I
Charles, with the wow, wow, wow.
I know. It's
It's
so
so
cute.
adorable.
So sweet. And like I just felt like it was so nice to see. It was like the most wholesome tell all that we've ever had. But it's so nice to see how they like genuinely do care about each other, and how I think that like this experience for the men, which I wasn't even sure, because you just kind of think, the women, I kind of assumed that they were going to be all best friends, especially the older women, and they would like have this camaraderie. But with the men, you don't know, because they're like, some of them are alpha men, and some of them, they're just different personalities. You get together and you never know how men are going to like bond, because men aren't typically as emotional either. So I felt like it's so nice to see how they have like actually all come together and truly like have this relationship within each other. It's really special, and I think we needed it. I felt like I needed it this week.
I love
I
it.
needed some positive news.
Yeah, I felt like it was super heartwarming, and it made me be like, I love all these men. Like I could date these men more easily than men my age, Um,
Yes.
besides the fact that I'm like, why am I too young to apply for the Golden Bachelor? Because if,
I want to date that gal
okay,
so bad.
but I mean, it's just so nice to see that support for each other, that they still stay in touch. Um
Yeah.
and then the biggest beef was literally over beef. It was over somebody putting
Yeah.
barbecue sauce on a hamburger. And the beef over it was caused by the guy who was clearly cast and put there to be that guy, the Chicago guy doing the
Yeah.
cannonballs. Like, he was, you were in casting
And it
for
was
it.
like fun. Yeah, I know. It was fun.
No.
Right. I think that like that's the thing about it. It was fun beef. And it was literally like Brendan always talks about my drama, and he's like, you need to be more in people's faces and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, I have like beef with people, but my beef is like the Golden Bachelor beef. It's like funny beef. It's like fun. Um like, I mean, I don't know. I think we all get to an age where it's like you want to, if you have the beef, it's funny beef. It's not just like you want to like
Yeah.
tear people down anymore. And I love that about this generation, like this Golden Bachelor and Golden Bachelorette that we're seeing. They don't want to like tear each other apart. They want to lift each other up. And it's so nice
It
to
was
see that.
so the opposite of Jen Tran's Bachelor, so this was what's funny,
Mm-hmm.
is that Jen Tran's season of The Bachelor, which was the most recent, or Bachelorette, which was the most recent Bachelorette since the Golden, was the most I've ever seen the men also focused on each other, but in a negative way. So you have this
Oh
juxtaposition.
yeah, because they were so obsessed with each other.
They're obsessed with each other, not her. And then on the
Mhm.
Golden Bachelorette, while they were very into Joan, they also were obsessed with each other in a good way. So I
Yeah.
think it's funny that you're seeing this total shift where the women used to be the more dramatic in the house, and the guys, like there was always like one villain in the house, but they weren't all fighting. And now it's like either there was a lot of women bonding or a lot of women fighting. Like that was the more emotional thing on a Bachelor. Now it completely like did a 180, and we see on the Bachelorette and on the Golden Bachelorette that you have like the male cast members vying for Jen, paying more attention to each other and like despising each other, and legitimately like not even addressing her in entire conversations, just talking about how much they hate each other. And then you have on the Golden Bachelorette these men like all just talking about how much they support each other, how their lives are changed forever because they met each other, because now they know it's
I
possible to have
know.
friendships and support. And like saying that the show itself and the premise of the show gave them hope for love, and that Joan was kind, and they all, they don't have beef with her. They're all thanking her for the experience and saying they had a great experience with her, and then saying it was also life changing because I mean, I know as I get older, you kind of get less, your circle tightens, you become more selective of who you're friends with. You also move away from people. So I think besides finding love, this was a show about like reconnecting with other people as you get older, because you do become a little more isolated.
Yes, and I think that that's so beautiful because that they said the same thing on The Golden Bachelor, that the women said they have hope for now for dating in the future. Like they had kind of given up on love a little bit. And so it's so nice to see that all these people have now opened their hearts and that they look at this like a positive experience, which we don't get in the younger generations. And it's, I don't know, I do love that about the Golden Bachelor and Bachelorette, that it is so just, it's so great to see them opening up and being vulnerable and saying that now they realize, like you said, they've made friends and they're ready for the next step of like maybe finding their person. And I think
Yeah.
that's why, again, we need a Golden Bachelor Island.
Well, you know what? You know why?
Golden,
There's almost like every statistic and study says, except for, there's always the exception. There's like the angry, isolated, like, and especially it's also women that never got married and like continue to be like tough cookie type lady, like chain smoked and
yeah.
had a glass of wine for breakfast every day. Those women live to 120. Like those are our oldest
Yeah.
people. But then aside from that, the next tier of extreme outliers are people that keep themselves active, but more importantly,
Hmm.
surrounded by people. The more isolated you
Yes.
get, the more likely you are to die. The more likely that's your age expect your limit will go down. So just
Hmm.
even on this Men Tell All, we had like a real shocker with Michael, who went in week 2, revealed that he got
I
diagnosed
know he had cancer. Oh,
going on the show, but was cleared by his doctor and encouraged to go. And I think part of that, as now, my father was recently diagnosed with cancer. I think part of that is they know, especially someone, he had stage 1, they said it was very treatable. So it wasn't going to be a risk to his health, which obviously he had in mind. I'm sure, if the show knew about it, they had in mind. But on top of it, cancer outcomes and outcomes from almost all these illnesses are much better when you have bonding experiences and have reasons to look forward to things. So it shows on a show that's discussing mortality and the death of spouses and aging and, wanting someone to grow old with and all
yeah.
this stuff. Like that was a great example right there too. I mean, this man is diagnosed with cancer and everybody in his life, from his doctor to his kids, are like, you need to go on the show because it's good for you. We definitely need
Hmm.
Golden Bachelorette in Paradise and having them all get together. I would love that.
I would love it. I would love it. And I feel like the audience will love it. And I think that like seeing our favorites from season 1 to well, I'm saying season 1 as the Golden Bachelor, but seeing the Golden Bachelor favorites, the Golden Bachelorette favorites, and like, I don't even care that they've only had 2 parts. Like, I think that's fine. We'll just put the people that have that
Or some of the people from like The Mole or other Netflix
they
world, because
could,
there's
yeah, that are
on
like
that.
older.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
should. They have Netflix people that are.
We could cast, yeah, we could cast it. It could be like Paradise with just Golden Paradise and with the people that are open to doing it from the seasons, plus with the other reality stars from other shows. I do
Yeah,
like that idea.
like golden perfect match,
Ooh,
golden
that would
match.
be cute. Golden
Yeah.
match. Oh, I love it. I love
You
it.
could go Squid Game
Um,
favorites. You could from
yes.
then that opens it up because I was thinking, oh yeah, there is only 2 seasons. But then I thought about it and I was like, oh, they should just do what they do with Perfect Match and pull from Squid Games, pull from the mole,
Yeah.
pull from just so many
Pull from
different
all
pull
the
the
shows.
mom from pull
Yeah.
the mother of somebody who was featured on like either Love is
Throw
Blind,
Kris
like
Kardashian in there.
the mom from Love is Blind who said she wanted to punch Ramses on the throat. She's a little,
Yes.
but like I would like to see if she matches up with somebody.
I
I mean,
like that. I like that.
yeah.
I
So I,
mean, why not? Let's do it. Like Hulu, there's a show for you right there. Speaking of Jen's season, Jenn got eliminated on the Dancing with the Stars recently. So she apparently also she's dating her partner from the show, which is like that was quick. I mean, I get it. I get it. Like, okay, so I've been like, I know Cheryl Burke, and so I've like been following a lot of her stories, and she just did one, and she was like, "Do the celebrities fall first, or are the Dancing with the Stars people the ones that like rope the celebrities in?" And
right.
so she was a professional on that show for years, right? So she thinks that because you're spending so much time with these people and dancing is so intimate anyways, you have to have chemistry or you're not going to get points. So she thinks that because you're letting your walls come down, you're spending all the time with them, your whole job is to have the chemistry, that the reason people, I think we talked about this last week too, the reason that people fall for each other on that show is because of the time and the chemistry. Well, so apparently Jenn is dating her Dancing with the Stars partner. Again, we don't know if that is real or not because we've had a few couples this season that are alleged. But they just recently got eliminated on the 500th episode, which also 500 episodes, crazy, since 22, what is it? When did they say that the show's been on? Since 2009? Is that right?
Has to be at
Something
least
like
since
it's,
I covered it around then,
yeah,
and that's when I started
yeah.
working magazines that went there.
Crazy. It's been on forever. It feels
Mhm.
like 2001. Let me see.
I
Let
think
me
that's
just double check so
earlier
I can fact
because
check.
yeah, when I started working, it was like 2008. I think is when I started working for OK, or 2009, and then we were already covering Dancing with the Stars. Has to be before that.
Yeah, let's see. First season was, okay, June 1st, 2005.
Oh yeah,
Okay. So that is 2005 was their first season.
right.
So, I mean, crazy, right?
I mean, I
Um,
understand it. Like as I said last week, I have a child because I was in a show with a man. Like it
yeah.
was something I knew at the theater. Wasn't really interested. He was dating somebody out. There was, and then we were on a show together, and I was like, whoop, and then, and that's how babies are made. So, and that's happened to me before, though. Not having a child from it, but I've dated people that I've been in shows with as a performer, and I think it's like the performance, it's the rehearsal time, it's the being
Yeah.
together, it's the heightened emotion of the performance, and then you throw in something like dancing and that intimacy and all the rehearsal time on
Oh,
top
yeah.
of it alone, then that is a setup for something like for a
And if you're
relationship.
single, like, especially if you're single and good
Even if
looking and
you're
she's so, right. Even if you're not, it's like, I know it's even more scandalous when you're not, but she is single. Her partner's single. They're very attractive people. And, yeah, I mean, I like it. Good for them. I mean, that's great. I'm sad that she got eliminated. She's doing great. Joey's also on this season,
yes,
which we
and
saw on the Men Tell All last night.
yeah, they use that to hype up. Of course, they
I
brought
know.
Joey out because they have to, the whole ABC, the
Ooh,
whole network
yeah.
family, promotion.
Well, and in their defense, Mark is still with, Mark from Golden Bachelor, that is the father of Joey's fiance. What's her name
Kelsey,
again?
Kelsey,
Kelsey. Yes. Yes.
yeah, well,
Kelsey.
it made
Yes.
sense to bring him out
Right.
to say something to my. It
Yes,
made sense.
exactly.
But like I was kind of laughing at the people who were like, it makes sense, but also like nice
Yeah.
promo, and he's doing really well.
Right.
I'm not a Dancing with the Stars person. I can't watch all the performances, but I have when he's on, I end up really paying a lot more attention because he gets really into it. And I've noticed that like he's excellent at like getting into the character and a pretty good dancer. And like he is interesting to watch dance. So it's, I very much admittedly, half the people when I'm watching Dancing with the Stars, I'll forget I'm even watching it or like, fast forward through it or something. But I've been very impressed
Yeah.
by it for sure.
No, he's great. He is great. Well, look, we have him, two Olympians that are still left. Like, I mean, the cast this season is definitely like a hard cast to compete against. Like Dwight Howard is still left. We have Chandler Kinney is still left. We have our Olympians. Danny Armalido. I don't know who he is, but who is Danny? Do you know
I
who
do
he is?
not know who almost anybody was on this cast,
Yeah.
to be
Oh,
honest with
really? Well, I know the Olympians, obviously. I know Phaedra.
Phaedra, for sure, Phaedra.
Yeah.
But even though
Yeah.
like I'm, in this world and we do, reality TV podcast and I still report on it, I have reached that age where you're like, who's that? About a lot of people.
Yeah.
I never
Okay,
thought
he's a football player. That's why I don't know. Go sports. Yay, sports.
I don't know sports either.
As you could tell, I know about the Olympians because I follow Olympics. Okay, so speaking of the Olympians, Ilona is going viral on TikTok because everybody wants her to be the next Bachelorette. So I love watching her on Dancing with the Stars. I know you're not into like all the dances and everything, but she did such a really cool, and it is a motivational dance when she was from Encanto during Disney Week when she lifted up her partner. She's
Yeah.
strong and she's not afraid to challenge the norms of femininity and the norms of like everything else. Like she's been vocal about weight and she's been vocal about health and she's been vocal about everything. And like, she is who she is. And she's also very vulnerable. We see her cry on the show. We see her open up and tell stories and laugh. And I do kind of think she would be a really great bachelorette. And I'm kind of pulling from the same crop. I know it sounds horrible because, like, obviously I've always, I work in casting for the show, but they don't have to pull from the same crop of people. Like, do I want Pascal to be the Golden Bachelorette? Yes, I do. Did Pascal give a great speech for why he should? Yes. But in this scenario, I think she would be a great Bachelorette. What do you think?
Well, so I didn't know who she was and didn't notice anything until she did the dance to Surface Pressure from Encanto.
Okay.
I was like, oh my God, who is this woman? Like, first of all, I love that song. I love
Me too.
I love that movie. That's my favorite song from the movie. That character became my favorite character from the movie after that song. I could listen to that song all day. So then to see her dress up as her, which she did a really good job, is
oh my God,
really
amazing.
like on the calendar. And then it's Surface. Yes. It's about carrying the load and being afraid to drop it and that everything's on your shoulders. And I'm like going to cry. I was like, oh my God, she's an Olympian. She probably feels like she's going to let down. I'm like literally crying. I said, this is probably a good example of that. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, it just seemed like when I put together like the way that song even can make someone like me feel, and then her being an Olympian and the pressure on her and that, like that was one that I was like riveted to and then thought about after and tearing up about. Yeah. And I'm like, that was pretty incredible. So I can see why people are saying that they'd want her to be the next Bachelorette because people have been seeking something different than the same cookie cutter thing we always see. They've been looking for somebody new, fresh, interesting. And then, you have this person here who's an Olympian. She's on Dancing with the Stars, which already kind of puts her in that universe and in the spotlight, who's obviously a great performer and great dancer and, has this totally different look, like this look of like, I'm an athlete and I'm going to kick your ass and I can lift my dancing partner over my head, but also like kind of and pretty. And so I think she
I love it. Yeah, she's stunning too, by the way. Like she could kick your ass, but she's also like stunning and you would be like, okay. Like, which I absolutely love about her. And I think she would be a great Bachelorette. And I hope ABC pays attention. I think over 3 million people have like commented on this, shared it, watched the video. She said she would do it too. So I don't know if she's like saying she'll do it, like, oh, sure, I'd be your bachelorette, or if she like really means that. But I am here for that. I hope that they pay attention to it, and I think I can't even think of who from the last season would be
Just thinking that. I was like, there's
yeah,
not, they'd be really plucking and
no.
stitching and trying to figure out who would be good. And maybe they
I
have
guess
some.
we still have like another season anyways, because we're casting right now, we're casting The Bachelor.
Okay.
So we still, because someone from Jen's season, we've already announced, what's his name? Oh my God, the new Bachelor. They've already announced who he's going to be. He was eliminated early on Jen's season. New Bachelor. Let me see.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Oh, you did. We talked about it. Elias. Grant Elias, our hottie tot
Oh,
tot.
I never mind. Yes, because I was like, oh yeah, he was the
Yeah.
hottest one there. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we
yes.
talked about it. He is
All I
like
wanted to do was hot.
you said, like, why aren't you old enough to be on the Golden Bachelor to date Pascal, but why aren't you young? Like, we maybe need to get you on with Grant.
I don't like younger. I'm more. Even though Grant is like perfect, I'm more attracted
He's
to
so
older and younger.
okay. Okay,
Like
okay, cool. We can just watch him then.
yes, he's
And we'll
still
just like watch him.
yeah, he's still eye candy, and
Woo, he is.
he's like a little bit of a charmer, and I still liked him. But I would feel like, I swear, even if somebody's like 1 year younger than me, I might feel like, oh, sweet boy. You know what I mean? Like I just
Oh
like,
yeah, true. Very
I like
true. I'm trying to find out how old he is right now. Let's see his age. Okay, here. He's 30. So, he's young.
sweet child.
Yeah, he is young. But I
Like, of course,
am very
I was a
excited to
dude.
watch him.
I was a dude, in my 40s. I'd be like 30.
Yeah.
That's great. She's old enough. She's almost past her prime.
Oh God.
I'm
I know.
falling into
Well,
the
I
trope
hope.
by being like
I,
Pascal, daddy.
yes, that's what I'm thinking. Like, we need. Okay, so Pascal. We'll just put you on the Golden Pascal. It would be a great. He would be a catch. I bet because Pascal dates. He said he'll date from like 50 to like 70. Is what I remember him saying. So I bet like we will probably see some younger women then, maybe,
45.
possibly. I mean, like just go ahead. We'll lie about your birth certificate. But
No,
also,
because
I
then
feel
everyone
like
will yell at me because I committed fraud, and then they'll say that I don't
ah,
deserve to be on the bat. We'll have another bachelor fraud
you
scandal.
don't deserve to meet him. That's what
No,
they'll say.
I don't deserve
I
love.
wonder. I think because he said the way he said it on the tell-all, I felt like he was saying that he would be the next Golden Bachelor, right?
Oh yeah, he was
Yeah.
positioning himself for it. It was funny how they faked us out with Charles. When the person
There's
that
no
girl,
way. Love
yeah,
Charles. No way.
conveniently she was mic'd up, so obviously it was planted for a cute
Yeah.
moment. And my mom wants to date you. They did give us a fake out though. It was like, we want you to be Golden Bachelor. I was like, oh my god, are they about to announce that? I was like, that might be. I love Charles, but I'm like, that might be too goofy for me. Also,
Yeah.
I've been Pascal or Guy, assuming if Chalk wins. Guy might be too much of like a card. They could actually do like a cardboard cutout of Guy, and that could be
Oh,
the
well,
Bachelor.
and then also wasn't Guy like he just doesn't have the personality.
Oh,
He
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 also
just
had some
doesn't.
issues with his ex-wife too that people got into, but apparently they both
Yeah.
were. Here's the thing, she was like a high-powered like state senator or local politician. He's a doctor. Those are intense personalities. So apparently, according to she dropped the thing when they were going through their divorce. It was like high stakes. Two people with a lot of money, both very high profile in the community, and they went like raw, like they like went
Yeah.
after each other the way super high achievers sometimes do. But that thing, I guess she filed for a restraining order, but I don't even think it was granted because he never actually
Like no
did
reason for
anything
it.
or did whatever. She just said that like he's
Yeah.
texting me a million times like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. But then like it came out that she was also like kind of doing the same thing to him. So I think that's why I know there's been a couple of restraining orders in different bachelors. His got brought up, but not really scrutinized because I think it may have been denied and she withdrew it. And B, when people dug into it, they were like, oh, they were like just two type A maniacs going through
Yeah.
a divorce. And they were like, it was
That's messy.
mutually messy.
But because of that, like, it makes me want Joan to not pick him.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll find out next week. Next
She
Wednesday, we
might, but
find
she
out.
like that apparently, that driven, the person who is, look,
Yeah.
her ex-husband, or ex-husband, her deceased husband, ex-husband, was running at least 2 different businesses as like one of the principals of it, of an owner, a founder. They had a very high-end lifestyle. She likes adventure. That's why she wanted to go for Pascal, because clearly while Guy can provide that, he's not as what she interpreted Pascal to be. But like, I love Pascal also because I do think he's extremely attractive. Is he really is vulnerable, which in the Men Tell All, his son stands up and thanks him for being so vulnerable and how it's so vulnerable. He literally says, I don't think my parents loved me. Like, how vulnerable do you have to be to say that? Like, he dug into it a little bit during the thing with Joan and with Jesse Palmer a little bit about like how he had a rough childhood and people don't understand. But then to come out there and say he's had to do some real searching and real thinking and realize that he doesn't think his parents loved him, not showed him love.
I know, loved him. That's so crazy. I know.
I was like, oh my gosh, like this guy has a lot to him, a lot of depth. And I think,
he's a really good dad. And he's like, because of that, he said that he tries to be a better dad, And so I think that that's like really cool too. No, I love it. Oh my God. So I know this is my ADHD talking.
It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer. And I'm talking today about Work Money. Work Money is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable and American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by Work Money, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen, sign up right now for free. Link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's Work Money. More money.
So I have a rumor for you because I was thinking, okay, this is my thought process. I was thinking about if you think that this season of House of Villains is good. I think first season was better. This season is fine. But then I was thinking about how the rumor is that Tiffany and Omarosa are going to be on season 4 of The Traitors. So season 3 was just announced that's coming out in January. I know. So the rumor is that Omarosa and Tiffany Pollard will be on season 4 of The Traitors.
Whoa. So for people that are like, who's Tiffany Pollard? New York. I love New York.
New York, right.
New York and Omarosa. Two like electrifying, like strong characters. That's exciting, and that could be extremely chaotic.
Yeah. Really chaotic, but in like a good way, because they were on the House of Villains together the first season, and they were chaotic with each other.
Yes, and they're both very smart.
They're so smart. I'm kind of surprised that they're not like better friends, but I think that that's a real drama. Like, I don't think, because when I did something with Tiffany, they didn't, like she said, like it wasn't like fake. It wasn't like they're not friends or whatever. They don't talk, basically, which is kind of sad because I feel like I don't know. But like people villainize Omarosa in real life. I don't really know. I've only met her in real life, and she's been lovely to me. So every time I've ever,
that she must have thought that I went really far, because she reached out to me when the cast was announced, and I had like a fancy website and I had already been on TV, and she reached out to me and said, unless it was like a fake, but I think it actually came from like the root of her website. Like I think she had the Omarosa.com. Like, I was like, is this real? Is this from her? I'm like, checked, and people were like, yeah. And she had reached out supposedly to a few cast members, and I was one of the few people, and just had said something like, good luck, like you seem interesting, like rooting for you, see you at the finale, something like that. And then I ended up being like, like the nice girl and like kind of more of like a narrator than like a main character. Like I realized halfway through, like my goal wasn't necessarily to win, it was to really be myself, but I did have the camera like, like I'm going to just like get out of this alive type mentality. So then I met her and walked up to her and I was like, hi, and then I referenced the email, and then I guess somebody else had said something about like, oh, da da da. So like she had contacted people because she'd acknowledged it, and I was just like, oh. So I introduced myself, and she was like, I don't know who you are, and walked away. She just
Are you kidding me?
She asked to know who I am.
Wow.
She asked to know who I am because I was on stage at the finale, and she watched the season, so she was aware of who I am.
What?
And she said, I don't know who you are, and walked away. And I was like,
Wow. Okay. That's crazy because when I met her, she's a big Brother fan, and she was so nice and was just like, I love Big Brother, blah blah blah, and like I've talked to her throughout the years and like kept in touch with her, and we've always said like if we ever did anything together, we'd work together. So like that kind of surprised. I mean, I've heard different things from other picks. I guess she picks like,
yeah.
she has her opinions, and that's why we love her. That's why she is Omarosa. That's why she goes by one name.
One name. I mean, that is one of the ways you get there. Yeah, I mean, I've been at other events where she was there and other things, and she was neither rude nor friendly to me, because then we didn't know each other. We didn't form that connection or anything, and
right.
that was that. So it's not like I have something super negative to say. I just have like a little funny experience where she basically just
It's kind of funny though, that especially because you were just on the show. I mean, that's kind of like that would be like me walking up to like someone from Big Brother and be like, I don't even know you. Like if they were just on the show. Like I know everything about everyone that's on the show. And that's not just because I watch the show. Like you just, by being on the show, you follow who is going to get cast. And if you don't, then like that is weird. I feel like everyone.
That's somebody who either truly or as a character, don't know which one, is trying to establish like dominance and like a hierarchy of fame. And I don't know if it was sincere in something she believes in, or I don't know if because there was other people around and Omarosa was on, if that makes sense. So I don't know.
No, of course. I don't know.
I don't know if she's really that bitchy and dismissive, or if she was like, okay, I'm here to be Omarosa, so like, let me be Omarosa. I wasn't like super, I thought it was like funny. I was like, I just got like Omarosa by Omarosa.
Yeah,
perfect.
For sure. That is hilarious. That's, I mean, hey, that's a compliment, really. So that's crazy. Well, I'm still working on this show. So if you are a family of 5, shoot me a DM. It's $100,000 per episode. One family is going to win, and it's called The Quiz Show with Balls, and it's on Fox. It's a really fun show. Do you have any other news, Jen? Anything
that
fun?
is about it for me. I just kind of was immersed in, I'm obviously like this week was crazy. We had an election this weekend. There was a lot going on. The holidays are coming up. So basically I just kind of like caught my Bachelor stuff, and then then have just been like the rest of the world kind of just like riveted to like, it's funny because like reality TV is a great like escape from the world. But then again, we have a reality TV star who's now president again, so maybe the escape is reality, the reality is the escape. But that is all for me for this week.
Okay, yeah, me too. Well, thanks, Queens, for joining us, and make sure that you subscribe to the Reality Queens podcast on YouTube, and you can do that by subscribing to the Reality After Show, because we are here every single week to chat with you about reality TV, cover The Bachelor, cover all the fun shows that there's also every show is on the Reality After Show. I mean, I think we cover every single show, right? Someone's doing it.
Pretty much. Right? If somebody doesn't get to do it, if gossip about it comes up, we do it. So basically,
exactly.
YouTube.com/after show. Then you pretty much can find out about any of your favorite shows, your favorite characters. Something will come up. There's something for everyone. It does carry a wide variety of different types of shows, genres, personalities from them. So and we will see you here next week.
Yay, we're so excited. All right, well, good to chat with everyone. We will see you next week.